Welcome to Top 5 Nintendo Pokemon Edition, where we're going to be discussing all things Pokemon for this season. So for today, it's going to be Pikachu family Pokemon. It's going to be tricky, right? Because we don't have a pop filter on our microphones, and we're going to be using a lot of P sounds. So that's just a forgiveness we were going to have to ask for. And I also, last episode, I had a lot of ice in my drink, and it sounded like rats when I moved it. I don't know if it got picked up in the microphone. And now both Jake and I have Coca-Cola coffee, and we might hear slurps. We'll see what happens. I am your host, Sam. This is my buddy Jake as the co-host. Jake, how's it going today?
Hi, thanks for introducing me. Yes, sipping on coffee cokes. A lot of P sounds today, so be on the lookout for all of those sounds you don't want to hear.
Lots of powerful Pokemon Pikachus.
Exactly.
Yes.
I know little to nothing about these clones. I did some research today. Clones is the correct term, or
right. So
copies,
there's a couple different words. It's funny because I just opened up and I said Pikachu family. Some people say that. I think more popularly, people say Pikaclones or Pikachu clones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did some research earlier. I actually knew more than I thought because like Raichu counts, Pichu counts.
Yeah.
Minusol?
You
Plusol
combined both of them.
What's the minus one?
Minin
and Plusol.
Yeah.
I knew those. And I think that actually might be it besides like the Mimikyu just from what you've told me. But this will be interesting. I did not rank them by cuteness, but I will speak on their aesthetics.
That is perfect because you really can't fairly rank them on cuteness because they're clones. They're all cute.
Yeah.
They're all perfectly adorable. Okay, so let's do a little bit of background because Pikachu is so important. I think like in the first season we talked about Pikachu as one of the top 5 mascots, and that was great. But I like how in this format maybe I could like just talk about Pikachu in terms of like the game, right? Not just Pikachu as the mascot of a franchise. Pikachu is interesting because right off the bat they were like obviously this wasn't Nintendo's first design. I think that goes to like Rhyhorn or something, right?
Oh.
It's not even number 1 in the Pokédex, but they just designed Pikachu, and I guess it was they just went with it. Like they must have liked the design. Maybe they like tested it and saw people also liked it because they made Pikachu Ash's partner in the anime, right? And it sounds funny, but when they make the game, they'll also have the anime in mind because people are going to be like relating to both sides of the media. They're going to relate each other. Mm-hmm. So, and it was a hit, obviously. Like everyone knows Pikachu, everyone loves Pikachu. It's like synonymous with Pokemon. Right. And why? I mean, like obviously having him be the partner in the anime was a big deal, and also I think it's just like a good design and cute, and you can draw it, right? Like that sounds stupid, but it's important. Like if you can draw it, then you can share it with your friends and relatable and fan art. And it's like relatable, like you can make a plushie out of it and have it be like actual like life size. You know what I mean? Like have you seen my huge Pikachu that I have?
Yeah, from your birthday, I think you handed out.
I have a huge Pikachu I won at Universal Studios. I actually didn't win. I paid this like really good basketball player like $20 to win it for me, and totally worth it.
Nice.
Yeah, and so but that is kind of cool because that makes it like more merchandisable. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like the fun stuff about it. What the Pikachu in the game it's interesting because he's not that good, right? Obviously, he's not a fully evolved Pokemon.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I'm not trying to jump the gun, but in the anime, like Raichu's so much better than a Pikachu. I understand wanting to keep the icon, but like, where does Ash get off not letting Pikachu evolve? Like, come on.
No, that is a great question. I'm glad you asked it because I think like Game Freak kind of had to work with that. So Pikachu is going to always be the partner. Like, how do you have Pikachu be usable in the game at all? Like, are we actually just not going to be using Pikachu? Because it's not a fully evolved Pokemon. It doesn't have very high stats because of that.
Yeah.
Raichu is better. What do you do? So some things they introduced, I think it was Gen 3, the Light Ball item, which is a 1.5 multiplier to your attack and your special attack. So that's a big deal. I mean, that's getting like a +1 boost in your offenses. And so right off the bat, typically your attacks are going to be stronger than a Raichu's from that boost. Okay. You're still gonna be slower. It doesn't boost your speed. So Raichu's faster. Right. That's one thing they tried. And what else they do? They gave it extreme speed, which is a valuable move in the game. You go first almost always, unless the opponent has an extreme speed and it's faster.
Okay.
Yeah. They give it Volt Tackle, which is cool. It's like a strong move, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's a not fully evolved Pokemon. It's kind of frail, so yeah.
Yeah, well, changing the topic a bit here, but the question popped into my mind a few minutes ago. Excuse that horn. A little off topic, but why are, the starter Pokemon? Does the professor just pick 3 random Pokemon and go, these are the starters? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How are they chosen? How are they selected?
Yeah, that's
within the realm of the
no. That's a great
universe.
question. And I guess it's so to not. Regular Pokemon players, they might assume that Pikachu is the starter Pokemon you get,
right?
And it's usually not. In the original Pokemon Yellow, it is. In Let's Go Pikachu, again, it is. But the starter Pokemon are always going to be that Fire, Water, Grass core, right? They're always going to have at least decent stats, right? They're going to be easy to use, and they'll give your team coverage. Because in early game, you're going to run into a lot of normal types, right? Flying types, you're not getting a lot of coverage. Now, why did they do Fire, Water, Grass core, and why is it always those Pokemon? I think it's to let your team have some kind of type advantage coverage in some way.
No, I don't mean the developers. I mean within the realm.
Oh, and canonically
in Pokemon,
the lore and all that.
Is the professor just picking 3 random Pokemon, or is there any lore behind this, or
straight up a fourth wall break? Honestly, yeah. If you were to be in the anime, what is their explanation for choosing it?
There isn't, from what I remember.
Maybe in season 50 million, they were you do know that we found these all in a cave one day. They might, I don't know, they might have said something at some point, but it's basically a fourth wall break reference to the game, and the game just does it to help build some kind of core in your team.
Okay. Wait, so the game actually, this might sound dumb, but came before the anime?
Yeah.
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 I
mean,
that makes sense.
The game was, it's funny because now we know it as the biggest franchise ever, but the game was kind of an odd idea, honestly, right? It was kind of a risk, and it wasn't a perfectly made game. There's a bunch of mistakes in the first one, but the designs were so iconic, and everyone in the world connected with that kind of gameplay, and it was fun to talk about. So
okay, well, enough of that.
Yeah,
do your thing.
Okay, let me spill some info. So yeah, they always tried giving us different kinds of Pikachus just because so merchandisable, so iconic. So we always got different versions of Pikachu. We got Pikachu wearing a hat, right? And then we got Rockstar Pikachu that knows Meteor Mash. I think it was Gen 6.
Wait, what?
Yeah. In one of the games, I'm pretty sure it was Gen 6, X and Y. You teach it a certain move that's independent to that game, and it changes costume.
Okay, that's sick.
It's pretty cool, yeah. And some of these coverage moves are pretty good for a Pikachu. Icicle Crash, Ice type attack is pretty good, especially with electric types. But yeah, that was kind of just more Pikachu stuff. Not at the end of the day, you're not going to beat the Elite Four with it.
And before we get into the list, Pikachu does not count
Oh,
right?
yeah. I'm gonna break it down.
Okay.
I'm gonna totally break it down.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah. So then we also got like Gigantamax Pikachu.
Okay.
We got Partner Pikachu, which is when they really tried making Pikachu like absolutely broken. They gave it the most hilarious moves. We'll just name them off. Zippy Zap has it has +2 priority, so it's as fast as extreme speed, and it always critical hits. Insane. it learns Splishy Splash. I can't even. Yes, that's
sick.
definitely it. Splishy Splash. 30% chance to paralyze. It has like 90 base power, and then Floaty Fall. Yeah, flying move.
Loving the
30%
alliteration.
chance to flinch. Also has like 90 base power, and then lastly, Pika-Pow. I know the P sounds. They're crazy. Just a strong move. And this was just for Let's Go Pikachu, because they were straight up like, let's just make Pikachu crazy in this game.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's enough about Pikachu, because we're not even going to include Pikachu on the list. I'll tell you who we're including. We're only including the actual Pikaclones. There's other members of the family. There's like Meryl. Meryl was originally like kind of going to be like a B plot, right, to the Pikachu canon. People were calling it Pikablue.
Peekaboo, yeah.
Peekaboo. There was a demo in '97. And you weren't. I don't think you were allowed to take pictures at the demo. But people that played Gold and Silver at the demo, they have since like recreated drawings of what they saw as this Meryl figure.
Yeah.
And it was much closer to Pikachu looking. It was like pink.
Okay.
It looks more like I think the shiny version of it has a different name. So Meryl was kind of going to be like, let's merchandise, have it be like, another iconic character. In the anime, they gave Tracy Meryl.
Yeah. I kind of remember that.
Yeah, and I don't think that worked. I mean, people like Meryl, but really hard to use in the game, especially in Gen 2. It had really low offensive stats. Not as iconic, I guess. Like Pikachu, you can be like, wow, it's small, but it's really strong. Like, it can shock you, and I'm afraid of being shocked. Meryl's a water type. Like, kids aren't really afraid of water like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just kind of hard to use in Gen 2. So I don't think it really got anywhere. And we got Pichu in Gen 2. That's not really a Pikaclone, because it's part of the evolution line of Pikachu, right?
Okay.
So I think after Meryl, they were like, you know what? Let's just give Dollar Tree Pikachus. We're not going to like invent a new Pikachu, but people are going to like it at least a little bit. It'll be like tradition for every game.
Right.
Yeah. And basically, all these, what makes a Pikaclone, I mean, they're all going to have the original Japanese names. They're going to go untranslated. I'm not sure if Blustle or Minun, I'm not sure if those are really the Japanese names.
Yeah. It doesn't really sound like it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it, but definitely all the other ones, like Pachirisu, Togedemaru. Yeah, those are going to be the untranslated Japanese names, just like how Pikachu was. They're all going to be electric, some kind of like rodent thing, whether it's like a mouse or a squirrel. And they're all going to be like kind of not super good. Yeah.
Right.
But let's just get into it. I think there is something to say about them. They all do like their own kind of thing differently, right? So my number 5, I think this is a weird one to pronounce. Dedenne. I think it's Dedenne. I'm just gonna say Dedenne.
Dedenne.
Dedenne? Yeah.
Denny's.
Someone please help us. Yeah, if you know how to say it, tell me.
Dedenne. Like
I'm gonna say Dedenne. This is definitely the one I've used the least. I'm not like a super huge fan of this one. I think it's cool. It's a fairy type. Something you'll see about all these clones is that they all have like some kind of immunity, right?
Yeah.
So this one's
this was the generation they introduced fairies, right?
You're learning. I love it when Jake learns.
I did some research.
Yes. Yes.
There you go. So
I kind of see this as like the whole, like I said, they did this with Sylveon, right? They just introduced fairy, and it's like, let's promote it. Eevee evolution, make it a fairy. Pikaclone, make it a fairy, right? So, and it works because these dual-typed Pikaclones, they all get an immunity typing, so fairy's immune to dragon. It was perfect. They couldn't have done it better. Unfortunately, it's really hard to make this Pokemon work.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I could think of, I've used it a little bit, but not super much in the end game, is that it has this funny thing it could do. So its ability is cheek pouch. So when it eats something, like it eats a held item berry, it gets a third of its health back, right?
Okay,
so
that's useful.
It's kind of like a gimmick. It's silly, but you can make it work. It learns a move called Refresh. Or Recycle. Recycle would be the one you use. And Recycle gives you that consumable item back. So you can use like a berry that boosts your special attack and then recycle it. And then so you're getting your health back, you're getting your special attack up over and over again.
Okay.
So kind of cheesy. Does it actually help much? Like, are you able to like, does getting a third of your health back actually make you last in a battle? Maybe not because you're super weak. But it's funny to use. And it's also kind of fast. It's a kind of fast Pokemon, so I don't know. And the design, I don't think it super does it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The design looks like a little chubby Raichu.
Yes. Oh, you're a genius.
Which I am loving, honestly.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite designs of the clones copies. It's very cute. It's familiar. In this picture, it's holding its tail. Very cute. But okay, enough of that. A question did come up in my mind.
Ask it.
Do these clones have evolutions, or are they just one-offs in each generation?
Yeah. No, that's definitely part of it is that they're all just never going to have evolutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it's really just like a gimmick for each generation.
It's totally a gimmick. Like they don't even want these Pokemon to be good.
Yeah, you're not using these. You're never going to use these, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for merchandise. They're cool and each of them like do have their own like little gimmick that they can do, and sometimes in game you can find a way to use it for a little bit if you but you pretty much know.
So I'm gonna pose a question now, and you can think about it and then answer it at the end of the episode.
Okay.
But Gen 9's coming up. What's your ideal clone gonna look like in Gen 9? What do you hope for? Don't answer it now. Just think about it. Okay.
I do have the exact answer, but
Okay.
but we'll have all the listeners wait until the end.
All right.
Help me remember. Okay. Yeah. So no, that's actually fair. Now I'm looking at it again, and in that kind of light, where it's like, oh, it's like Raichu gets a clone. That's actually awesome.
Yeah,
that Raichu gets its own clone. And also, I feel like the design of Pokemon kind of evolved in a way where things were getting rounder, and it was like less a concern where it's like, but does it look like maybe how a mouse would look? Like you look at Pikachu, and I feel like, its body is like as long as you would expect, its tail's as long as you would expect.
Yeah.
Once we start getting to, like Gen 6, we're starting to see they're just round. You know what I mean? It's like just make it round and cute.
Right. Exactly.
So, that's all I got to say about it. Like, it does that one funny thing where it can cheek pouch berries. And I like fairy types. That's cool, too. But I'm not really, it doesn't blow my mind.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't really have much to say here.
Yeah,
except
sorry.
that I am defending the design on this one.
Yeah, no, actually, you, like, completely converted me. I was
Sweet.
like, I don't get it, and then you're like, Sam, can't you just tell that it's actually just a Raichu clone? I'm totally sold.
I'm glad we came to an agreement there.
Yeah, still not using it anytime soon. Plusle is interesting. Okay, so number
Sweet.
4, I do have Plusle. I'm going to put Minun not included. Minun is...
Do they have stat differences?
They do. So
Okay.
Plusle is slightly stronger in special attack, and Minun is slightly stronger in special defense, right? So the idea was that in Gen 3, they introduced double battles.
Okay.
And they're like, what better way to like promote double battle strategy than having Pikachu clones that do a double battle thing, right? Right. So they have abilities where they boost each other's special attack when they're on the field together. Okay. It's the plus ability Plusle has, and the minus ability that Minun has, and you need to match. So you can't have two Plusles. You can't have plus and plus. It has to be plus and minus. Like a battery, right?
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I do not see a practical reason to have both of these things on the field at the same time.
Right.
I'm cracking up thinking about, like, oh my gosh, how are they going to defeat my slightly stronger Plusle and slightly stronger Minun? They use Earthquake. Earthquake hits both of them at the same time, just crushes them.
Yeah.
That said, it kind of has an interesting toolbox. It has, like, a lot of, like, random moves. So first off, you can use Nasty Plot, boost your special attack. For Pikaclone, have okay enough speed, okay enough special attack. You have Lightning Rod if you're a Plusle, so when you get hit by an electric attack, you're immune to it, and it boosts your special attack right there. I know in-game, it learns Encore. So you'll see that when you're playing in-game, they don't have perfect strategies, right? These, like, computer opponents that you're playing, they might do something dumb like, I don't know, use Protect, use, like, Hail. They'll use Hail, right? You Encore that Hail, and now they're, like, the computer's not switching out. The computer's not like, oh, I'll just totally, like, switch into a Pokemon that's way stronger. They're just going to be stuck there. You could be doing no damage, and you will win, right?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't exactly translate if you're playing a person with a brain, but it still kind of works sometimes. So, and it also learns, like, a bunch of other random moves I didn't know until I was doing research. I don't think I'm going to, like, want to explain all of them, but it's just a bunch of silly things like Sing. So put your opponent to sleep. I don't know. You could use Wish to get your health back. You could use Magnet Rise so you're immune to ground moves. You can use Copycat so you copy the opponent's last moves. It learns, like, a bunch of random things that do all kinds of random different things.
Yeah.
And it's like there's so many possible gimmicks there. I feel like they wanted so badly, Game Freak, for Plusle and Minun to be the strategy Pokemon, right? Where you could do it's just a sandbox.
Right.
But they're too weak. They're too weak. They're too frail. They get hit pretty quick. But I don't know. Like, yeah, you Nasty Plot, you get +2, you use Thunderbolt on a water type, you win. Cool. Right.
Right. Well, maybe you could continue practicing with them and they will join your competitive doubles team.
Exactly.
You just haven't played with them enough yet.
Someone please show us a genius strategy that uses Plusle and Minun on the field at the same time.
For real.
Where you don't just lose to Earthquake right there. and I'll take it all back. We'll delete the episode. So that's what I have for 4. Cool. The design, again, this time, like, I remember when Gen 3 came out, I thought these were too close to Pikachu. It kind of felt like cheating instead of, like, oh, more things I love.
Okay.
I don't know. What about
more
you?
similar to Pichu for me. I do remember when they were in the anime. Oh, excuse me. It was a cute little episode. I don't remember exactly what was happening, but they were being mischievous, and Ash and crew were chasing them around, trying to figure out what they were, because they were, like you just said, little Pikachus, I guess.
Yeah. Jake, you have a brilliant mind. Everyone should know that Jake does have a brilliant mind. I'm looking at these, and it's totally right. Pichu has a top-heavy design. That's part of the cuteness.
Yeah.
It looks like it can't keep its balance, right? Because its head's actually bigger than its body. And same thing with these Plusle and Minun.
Yeah.
I mean, their ears are literally longer than their whole body. They look top-heavy. They definitely wanted to go more for, like, a Pichu, right, based design. So. Jake,
cute little guys.
Jake nailing it perfectly again.
That's why I'm here. That's what I have to offer.
That is why Jake's here. Thank you. That's what I have for number 4.
Okay, sweet. Do you want to go into break and then come back with 3?
Let's do it.
Sweet.
Hi there, I'm David.
And I'm Kate.
And we're the hosts of another Zelda podcast.
There are so many good podcasts out there, and some of them in particular concern The Legend of Zelda.
That's right, Kate, and we are another one of them. That is actually the name of our show, Another Zelda Podcast.
And in our show in particular, we talk about some of our favorite dungeons, characters, boss battles. We have top 10 lists.
Yeah, we do deep dives on game design and production aspects of the different Zelda games.
And we talk about our own experiences. We do some review episodes, talk about our challenges, our struggles, and our victories.
That's right. Really just almost anything that has to do with Zelda, we like to talk about it. A new episode comes out every other Friday, and you can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and YouTube.
And you can also check out our episodes on our website, anotherzeldapodcast.com.
That's right. All right, we will see you there.
Okay, bye!
Welcome to our new podcast. Welcome to our new podcast. this isn't working.
Agreed. I think we're going to have to do it turn by turn.
Well, now that you mention it, we are a brand new RPG video game podcast.
Our very existence hinges on turn-based gaming.
So join us on the Turn by Turn podcast, where we'll be talking about
Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, Shining Force, Mother, and so many more.
It's your turn to come and join us.
And we're back. Okay. So I said my number 4 is Plusle. Plusle's cool. We debunked that it actually looks more like Pichu than Pikachu. Now I have my number 3.
Let's hear it.
That's going to be Morpeko. Morpeko, yep, is the most recent Pikaclone for Gen 8. So, kind of interesting. We were talking about how they love to promote these, like, the Pikachu families. And I didn't really follow the anime after I got out of, like, elementary school. But I understand that the partners usually have, like, their own kind of Pikachu family Pokemon, right? Or at least some kind of important character will have their own, maybe it's like a Pachirisu or a Meryl.
Okay, you mean like the main character of the anime will have one of the copies? Or
Yeah.
Okay, probably. I haven't watched the more recent
I haven't
ones.
watched either. I just literally like read this today. Yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I wasn't watching the anime, but I think it's very cool that apparently the first Pikaclone to break this trend of an important character having their own Pikachu clone is James having a Morpeko.
Okay.
Right? So why is this interesting? Okay, so now it's the bad guy having a Pikaclone. Are they just trying to mix it up? Morpeko is an electric and dark type.
Okay, there you go.
But it's a very moody one. So what it does is it has a signature move called Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is really strong. Finally, they're giving these Pokemon strong moves to use. But the catch is that it changes type every turn.
Okay.
This is not a mechanic that most moves have. Like this is the only one that I can think of that it's a move that changes type like on its own, and it has. Oh, they have a hilarious name for it. What is the silly name they give it? So its ability is called Hunger Switch, and and it has hangry mode and then like its normal mode. So when it's hangry, Aura Wheel is a dark move.
Yeah.
And when it's not hangry, it's an electric move.
Yeah.
This is cool in the idea of like you can basically have like 5 different moves in your move slot instead of 4 because it'll switch. But then you kind of have to, like, your opponent knows like when they can switch in, when they could do whatever. Now you can use Protect and kind of like manipulate it so you protect until it's the right typing. But that strategy is also kind of predictable because like, oh, you're gonna protect so you can use your dark move. Well,
Sword Dance or
Sword Dance or just instant win against you. But it is pretty cool, and it's also I believe it's the only physical attacker really in the true Pikaclone.
Okay.
Yeah, it has an okay enough physical base stat 95. So Aura Wheel's physical move. It's pretty cool. What else? It has other cool things like Parting Shot. It lowers your opponent's attack and special attack, and then you switch out, right? So you kind of just say, oh, you're weaker, and I'm out, and I switch in a Pokemon that can set up against you. So it does have cool things going for it. I feel like they wanted to make it fun, make it have like a gimmick, and then also give it tools to use. I like the idea of it because I think dark types are cool, and to give it like its own like personality through odd abilities and moves. I think they could do that more often, and I wouldn't mind. This one is a bit gimmicky. It's kind of just for fun. But that's about what I got. How do you feel, Jake?
I'm reading that the non-hangry mode is full belly mode.
I can relate.
Both of these names are hilarious to me, and I am almost in disbelief that they're like canon in Pokemon. That this Pokemon has just a hangry mode. Whoever came up with that is a genius, and maybe 6 years too late on that word.
I know. No, I'm just picturing like it's like the World Championship finals of VGC Pokemon, and the announcer's like, oh my god, the more Pico entered hangry mode. Oh no, the opponent's weak against dark.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, it has the little circles on its cheeks like Pikachu does.
Yep.
That's cool and all. It is very oval, round, egg-shaped. I don't know.
It's very round. They start doing this. I feel like maybe Emolga in Gen 5 was the last, like, not literally a circle.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not digging it. I don't really like it. This was in Sword and Shield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't like the game much. Don't like the Pokemon clone much.
No, that's fair. I don't remember using this. I may have seen
Pikachu
it.
clone, I mean.
Yeah. Right, because when we say just clone, it makes me think of the first Pokemon movie, where Pikachu, the clone and the clone Pikachu in the first Pokemon movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the Mewtwo evil one.
Yeah, the evil one.
Yeah.
That's what I think of with just clone. That's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
So
a
I
cool
should
one,
say
though.
copies.
I don't know. Yeah,
What do you want me to say?
Pikaclone.
What do you? Okay, Pikaclones.
You could say clone. I don't care. I was just giving further information. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's actually interesting that you brought up like, oh, this one has cheeks, like the signature Pikachu cheeks, because I'm looking at these designs and they definitely use them for all of the
really?
Pikaclones. Yeah. So it's kind of that's interesting. I mean, I guess
does not.
It would have been you're totally right.
It would have been too Pikachu-like.
Well, so here's the thing though, is that
It probably did originally.
Meryl is like a pseudo Pikaclone, right?
Yeah.
Because I kind of consider it in the Pikachu family,
Okay.
but we'll never know what that original design actually looked like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It had to have had the circles on it, on the cheeks.
I feel like it did have to have had the circles, and
Yeah.
then they were just like, no, like
Too
we're
much.
gonna, because I'm thinking like, I don't know, like Disney with a Mickey Mouse, like are they gonna do a new mouse every 10 years?
Right.
Like they gave us Minnie and that worked, but they called it right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they're probably not seriously thinking like I don't know, this will be the next Pikachu. They were trying to do it with Meryl, whatever. Meryl's okay. I'm talking all this crap on Meryl. Meryl's actually cool. Azumarill was one of my favorite Pokemon, especially in Gen 6. But enough about that. Okay, so I said my number 3. Jake, you gave valuable insight. The cheek is genius. Okay, now we're going to go into number 2. Number 2, I have Emolga. Emolga is cool. So Emolga is the Gen 5 one. So that would be for black and white. What's interesting about Emolga is it started the trend of where they give these Pikaclones, immunities, right? I guess to maybe make them like more usable.
Okay.
Right. So for people that don't know what that means, like Emolga is electric and flying, so it's going to be immune to ground. It doesn't take any damage from ground.
Right.
And that's pretty cool.
Smart.
That's pretty cool for an electric type because electric's only weakness is ground.
Mm-hmm.
And what else about it? I mean, it's the fastest Pikaclone, which is pretty cool because we were kind of talking about like all of them are pretty weak in defenses and they don't have the speed that lets them go first. So a lot of the time, if they're up against fast Pokemon, they're just going to get knocked out before they even have a chance to go. This Emolga has 103 base speed, so like that's faster than a lot of Pokemon, honestly. I think it's around the same speed as like Garchomp even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. It learns, what does it even learn? It learns good enough moves. It learns obviously like Thunderbolt. It gets Air Slash because it's a flying type. It's fast, so it can use U-turn, which means it hits the opponent and then leaves right after hitting it, so you never even get hit in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
If you're that fast, you just hit, leave, go to a Pokemon that can take the hit, bring it back later, hit, leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good strategy. It has Taunt. Taunt means your opponent has to attack, and if it wasn't going to attack, if it was going to use a move like Toxic, then it gets canceled out for the opponent. So having a fast Taunt is pretty good because you basically just remove the opponent's turn. It gets Encore. We talked about that. The opponent has to keep using their same move over and over again. If you're fast, that again will just cancel out your opponent's turn if they weren't going to use the same move again.
Mm-hmm.
its ability is motor drive, so it gets like a usable ability that's not a total gimmick. Motor drive, if it gets hit by an electric move, then it boosts its speed. Now it has 2 immunities.
Okay.
It's immune to ground, and it's immune to electric. And because it was flying in electric, it was going to take neutral damage from that without the ability. It has a lot of cool things going for it. The reason why it's like, oh, Sam, well, if it's number 2 and you're saying all these great things about it, then why isn't everyone using Emolga in the World Finals? And that's because it can't hit super hard, and its defenses are weak.
Okay.
And even if it's fast, a faster Pokemon is just going to knock it out.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I do like the design, though. I think it's kind of funny how, like, Pachirisu was like a squirrel, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be like a rodent anymore. It was, not like a mouse.
Yeah.
And then we got a Molga, and it was like, oh, it's like a flying squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
It works so well, because how were you going to do a flying mouse before?
Right.
Flying squirrel, genius.
They were planning this 3 generations ahead.
Oh my gosh, probably not, but maybe.
I'll give them the credit for it. It's also funny that they get like progressively smaller with the copies for those 3 generations from like +1 and minute and whatever, and then the next 2 they just keep getting smaller, and then they said, all right, it's too small, let's make them round. And then there's everything
so
after
right.
that is just round.
They look like smaller scale as they go on. I'm actually looking at this, like Pikachu's so tall when you look at these sprites.
Exactly.
Right? Pichu is obviously smaller.
And Pikachu's not even a big Pokemon.
No, oh my gosh.
And they just keep getting progressively smaller.
Like, how small do these things get? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like Pikachu was able to fit on Ash's shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
Dedenne looks like half the size of Pikachu. Do
Yeah.
you hold that in your hand? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. So where does this fall in terms of designs for you?
It's a cute little design. I don't know, like, I like my flying Pokemon, but it looks weird for a flying Pokemon, I guess, not having wings per se. Like, you wouldn't look at this thing and say, yeah, it could fly, Right. It's like immune to ground, you said?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because it's a flying type.
So you're assuming, like, it's literally always in the air, but I don't buy it looking at him.
Yeah.
I don't believe that this thing is flying with those,
That's
quote unquote wings.
Yeah, that's funny. I feel like there's a couple flying type Pokemon where it's like, so this is immune to earthquake. How?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like Gyarados, right?
Yeah.
That's water flying.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, wait, this thing's always in the sky?
Okay, you think that, and then you play Arceus, and that thing is literally just flying, and it's amazing to see, but it's it just blows your mind because that's not how you picture it.
Right. You picture it like lurking in the water, and then it kind of does. Like when you play Gen 2, Gold and Silver, you get that shiny Gyarados in the water.
Right. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
And in the anime, it was the same. It was not flying like it does at Arceus.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But I agree. I don't know how a flying squirrel is meant to always be flying. Good thing that's not a battle mechanic in the game. So, okay.
Well, that's a con in my book.
Yeah.
That's taking it down a notch.
So what I'm going to do before I say my number 1 is a couple honorable mentions. I'm going to answer your question. I remembered it. You asked me a question. You said wait. I'm actually going to answer it now.
Right now.
So I didn't mean to burst your bubble. They did actually announce the Pikaclone.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope this episode goes up before the game comes out, because then everyone would just be like knowing before we even knew.
Yeah.
So embarrassing. So Palmy is going to be the name.
Okay.
And as of right now, I checked the website, and it looks like it's just going to be pure electric.
Okay.
I guess that makes sense. If they're going to give it like an immunity dual typing, I think it would have to be like electric and ground. And it doesn't look like it. It could evolve, but like you said, these don't evolve. There hasn't been a Pikaclone that really evolves. The design is very, very simple. If we thought, if we thought these newer ones were round, this is as round as it gets. But it's cool. I mean, it's cute. We'll see if its stats are good. Maybe I like to use it in the game. Maybe it can do something. Its ability is static, which a couple of the other ones have, and natural cure. So if you get a status condition, you could switch it out and it goes away. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Jake just pulled up a picture.
I just found a picture of it.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It is cute. I'll give it that. It's cute.
Paul, I was like looking at like PALMY or something.
You're
It's
just
paw like a cat paw.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
And
so,
it's on all fours, which from what I gather is notoriously like hated on in the community, correct? Like people do not really vibe with the four-legged Pokemon.
that's funny. I feel like people can never be happy because it's like, oh, why is Typhlosion on all fours? Like he should be like on, like he should be bipedal and like look strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, why are we only getting bipedal fire types that stand like humans? It's like always back and forth. Like people can just never agree. But that's okay.
But this is the first clone on all fours.
Jake is literally so perceptive and such a genius. He's seeing things so differently. Yes, I never noticed that, honestly. I guess like Emolga, maybe you can make the case for like it's flying and maybe not always standing.
True. No, we just established it's always in the air, Sam.
We just established it's literally always flies. Is there an anime? We don't know about it. Don't try to debunk us. Yeah, no, it is cute. It is cute. I don't know. I mean, I'm such a nerd. Like, I'm like, let me see the stats. Let me see the move pool, right?
Dare I say too cute?
Too cute. I actually agree with you. It's like, just give me an evolution. That's how I say it. It's like, honestly, hey, give me like a crazy looking monster one.
And somehow more round.
More round. I
don't know how they do it.
Right. Okay, so another honorable mention I want to give is if this Pokemon counted, then this would be like number -1. Like the absolute like super number 1.
Okay.
It would be Mimikyu. You knew this.
Course.
Jake knows this. I have a Mimikyu t-shirt that I love. I almost got a Mimikyu tattoo, but I think we were like too late to the tattoo shop and we couldn't get it. Mimikyu is great. It's a Ghost and Fairy type, so it doesn't meet the...
Oh, wait, Ghost and Fairy?
Ghost and Fairy, yes.
Not electric.
Not electric, so it doesn't meet the electric qualifications.
Okay.
And then it's like, ooh, well maybe they're being like subversive, What is it?
Yeah.
Is it a rodent? No, it's not even close to being a rodent. It's kind of this like unidentifiable, like ghosty thing that wears a costume over it. So it's kind of funny. It's like a self-aware, like, oh, we pretend to be Pikachu to be liked kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I love that they did that. It's just like a funny idea of like be yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people won't like you more if you try to act like someone they like. Like they'll like you for being who you are. And Mimikyu kind of like represents like the process of becoming who you are. Right. So now I'll bring nerdiness into it.
Okay.
Its ability is Disguise, which is unique only to Mimikyu. What Disguise does is that you can actually get hit without getting real damage done to you. So you can get hit for free, and then it busts your disguise, and then you become busted Mimikyu, where your costume is broken.
Okay.
And you become like it doesn't matter in the game, but I guess more like the authentic you or something, or like your costume's destroyed. And so that's cool because you get a free turn to set up. You use Swords Dance. It has cool moves. It gets like Wood Hammer. I have no clue why. Maybe you hit something with your costume. And it's just cool. It actually has like usable stats. Like its attack is good enough. But we can't count it just because it really doesn't qualify in anything besides like having a costume that looks like Pikachu.
Okay, wait. Are you saying this isn't your number 1?
This is just this is a mere.
I thought we were talking.
This is a mere honorable mention.
Okay.
I told you this would be.
I misunderstood.
This would be beyond number 1. This would be -700.
Okay. I thought you were saying if it was my decision, this would be so far ahead of 1, but alas, it's just 1.
Oh yeah, that's something.
Okay,
that is something that I would say and no one would understand. So I let you go on that. No, I can't count it. I mean, it's maybe some people would consider this Pikachu family, but I couldn't find enough people to agree with me. So I'm going to just have to let people know I love that Pokemon. And with that said, I'm going to say my real number 1. It's Togedemaru. Togedemaru.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, very cool Pokemon. I mean, so that wasn't much of like a big surprise because there was like I could have like it was either that or Pachirisu, right? There's only like a couple of them. Sorry, Pachirisu. I really tried thinking of things that you do that are good, and I couldn't think of any. So I had nothing to say. That's a squirrel, but sorry. Togedemaru is very cool because electric and steel is a great typing. Steel is one of the best typings. Like Magnezone has that same typing, and it's really great. It has good, like, electric and steel is just great for defenses and letting you take hits. So what it does, it has really cool moves too. So Spiky Shield acts like a protect, but if your opponent hits you with a contact move while you use protect, it does damage to them too. So I know that's a nice strategy. It gets a signature move in Zing Zap, which is just 80 base power, so pretty strong, and it has a high chance to flinch the opponent. So Togedemaru is pretty fast. So it's like you can use protect. They take damage. You can hit them with Zing Zap. They might flinch. It also has like so many great abilities that like sturdy, so it can't get killed in one hit. If it has full HP, it can't get killed in one hit.
Okay, so it goes down to 1 HP.
Yeah, it goes down to 1 HP, but only if you're at full. It also has Iron Barbs, which is if you get hit by a contact move, your opponent takes damage back.
Nice.
So it's like if you have Spiky Shield and you have Iron Barb's ability, your opponent's just constantly taking damage.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have the most amazing defenses, but that's still good enough. And then Lightning Rod, so you're immune to electric moves. Awesome.
Nice.
And this just kind of goes to show it's like, okay, it's not the best Pokemon of all time, but this is actually usable. It has things going for it, and I think Game Freak, they could just do this more often. Like, give a Pokemon decent typing, make the typings balanced, decent move pool, decent abilities, and now it can use it and be happy, right? It doesn't have to just be like a plushie, like, oh, I can actually, like find success in using a thing. So that's cool. I mean, this is the definitive round Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. Very round.
Very, very round. I kind of like it, though, and I think it's, like, funny. It reminds me of, like, an iron ball. I don't know what it's actually supposed to be. Like a circle rodent?
Yeah. They were on a path of roundness, and this was the logical next step.
I think you're just absolutely right, honestly. Because let's see. So Pachirisu was Gen 4. Honestly, kind of lanky. Not really round. Emolga has like a round head and just like generally gives me round vibes. Dedenne is an oval. Like that thing is a straight oval. And then we
almost
just get
a snowman.
Almost, yeah, like a snowman kind of oval. And then Togedemaru is a snowball. That's, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With a spiky tail. And that's great. It's like, I love when Game Freak will give us like, like moves that make us think of the design in interesting ways.
Right.
Like kind of how they gave Wood Hammer to Mimikyu. It's like, oh, how does it have a wood hammer? Like how do we do something with that? So iron, like a spiky shield, is that its tail?
Yeah.
Genius. Absolute brilliance.
Makes sense. I really dig the Naruto-like name. Could definitely be a character in Naruto.
Yeah, I guess because like in Naruto they just have Japanese names, right? And then like these Pikaclones are Japanese names as well. Yeah. But this is like the least cute name. Yeah. It's like Togedemaru. Yeah, exactly. It's like I wouldn't have like, I don't know. That's not like built for a kid. Like Pikachu. Yeah. You can go so Chew, right? What does Togedemaru say? Like we gotta pull up this clip on anime and like find how it talks.
Togedemaru.
Yeah. That was genius. I'm telling you, this guy's a genius.
I feel like I had another note. I'm forgetting now. Another cutie. A little too round for my taste, perhaps.
Too round, and that's valid because it almost doesn't get rounder than this.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say? Now, when I was doing my research, I don't know if you could confirm this. I didn't read too much into it, but I believe this was the only clone copy, whatever, that was used in like a tournament victory. I don't know if you could certify this fact, but it's the only clone with like any use, like merit to it.
Togedemaru?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I picked it number 1.
Yeah.
It's the only usable one.
Yeah.
Now, like statistically, is it the only clone that like won the championship? So, I mean, I don't follow VGC, which is like the official like Pokemon Pokemon. I said Pokemon. Pokemon Run tournament.
Yeah.
Like, I believe it. I feel like I saw like a Pachirisu get like decent use.
Okay.
But no, you're exactly right. Like, this is the one where they're like, what if we just got random and weird and gave it good things?
Yeah.
And here we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like this one. Like, when I'm playing Pokemon battles and my opponent has this, like, I'm genuinely like, oh, what is this thing gonna do? It could do so many things. Like,
Right.
you know, if my opponent has a Pachirisu, I'm like, yes, they're literally just having fun and don't even want to win.
Genius.
Yeah, genius.
All right. Well, you didn't quite answer my question from earlier, right? You kind of cheated that one by saying it already exists.
What I want?
So yeah, I'm
you're right.
curious. Let's say Gen 10.
Okay, yeah, Gen 10 after Palmy. Okay, Gen 10. Sam, if you're so smart and know everything about Pokemon, then what is the perfect Pikaclone?
Yep.
That's a great question. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
Let's start with the typing.
Yeah, the typing. I want it to be. I think I want it to be like, I would say Electric and Steel.
It's a good one.
Right, because it's a great one.
Yeah.
But that's Togedemaru already.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give it Electric and Water.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
There you
Electric
go.
and Water is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would do the Rotom wash thing, the washing machine Rotom.
Okay.
I would give it the Levitate ability, right?
Okay.
So it can't get hit by ground moves.
Yep.
It's immune. And Electric and Water is great typing together. And when you're immune to ground, you can do a lot of things with it. You're able to also hit ground types with your Water move that would normally be immune to Electric.
Right.
I have no clue what design you would come up with Electric and Water.
Okay. Fair enough.
It would be, let's just copy Lantern. It's just like an anglerfish again, but
Yeah.
with Pikachu cheeks. That's what it would be.
Oh,
a
yeah.
floating anglerfish.
That's sweet.
like a Meryl, like what Meryl could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just gonna be Meryl 2. Okay, my Gen 10 Pikaclone is called Meryl 2. It is electric and water with a levitate ability. It is absurdly fast, absurdly strong, and can take hits. And that's all I want. That's all, and I'll be happy.
It has max stats
It just
across the board.
It has 10 million in every stat.
All right, sweet. Meryl 2, I like it.
I'm crossing
like
my
it. Let's
fingers for
pitch it.
Meryl 2. Yeah.
Nintendo, if you're listening, Game Freak.
Help us get Meryl 2 made.
Everyone tag Pikachu. I mean, whatever. Everyone tag Pokemon in this tweet, whatever, for this episode. Let's make it happen, guys.
Yes. All right. So to give the top 5 one more time, it looks like we have Dedenne at number 5, Plusle at number 4, Morpeko at number 3, Emolga at number 2, Togedemaru at number 1. All right. Thanks everyone
Sweet.
for listening. Jake, how could these people find us?
If you want to find me on Instagram, my Instagram is Jake Naroden, Naroden. If you want to follow Sam on Instagram, Sam, what is it?
That would be Sam__. My last name Ansa, Ansa.
Sweet. If you want to follow my cat on Instagram, just kidding. That's actually just my account. It's only cat pictures. If you want to shoot us an email, top5nintendopod@gmail.com, the number 5. I'm just realizing as I'm saying this, I haven't checked that email in like a year. So if you sent us an email, you probably didn't, but I'm going to read it in a minute after we finish this.
Amazing.
That's top5nintendopod@gmail.com, the number 5. If you want to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., it is just top 5 Nintendo with the number 5. We would so greatly, hugely appreciate if you gave us a review on iTunes, Spotify, whatever it may be. I think you don't even have to write a review. Just give us your star rating. A 5 would be fantastic, but if you think we're only a 2, we'll take the 2. Just give us something. We appreciate any feedback. we're going to try to do some respond to some feedback at the end of the season. So if you want to DM us or shoot us an email with any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free, and we will try to respond to you at the end of the season, maybe like a little bonus episode or something like that. Sweet. I learned a lot today, Sam. Thank you for your information on Pikachu clones.
Jake, I honestly
Pikaclones.
learned a lot from you. Because you straight
I'm
up
so
were
glad.
like, Sam, did you even notice that they all have the circles on their cheeks? And you said another genius thing.
I said a lot of genius things today.
Everything that came out of this man's mouth. All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for listening.
See you next time.
See you next time.